Welcome to This Explainer. Nikola Tesla is a name that's basically synonymous with pure genius. We're talking about the guy who literally helped electrify the modern world. But his final years, they're shrouded in this profound, almost cinematic mystery. So today, we're cracking open the vault on his missing files, the incredibly radical theories they contained, and the highly secretive government actions that kicked off the exact second he passed away. Let's get right into it. To kick things off, we really have to ask ourselves, why did the FBI and the Office of Alien Property swoop into a random New Yorker hotel room at the absolute height of World War II? Picture it, it's January 1943. The world is completely engulfed in this global existential conflict. And Tesla? Well, he had recently claimed to have perfected a terrifying new defensive weapon. The US government was absolutely terrified. If his research was left unsecured, there was a very real fear it might fall right into the hands of the Axis powers or the Soviets. Section 1. The seized Tesla papers, tracing the vanished documents. Because literally the morning after Tesla died, his nephew hurried to the hotel room. He suspected someone had already cracked his uncle's safe, and you know what? He was right to be paranoid. Just 2 days later, the government seized the whole shebang. And over the years, these files bounced around in a totally chaotic sequence. We're talking the military testing his concepts in something called Project Nick in 1945, to a court awarding the files to his nephew, which were then sent off to a museum in Yugoslavia in 1952. But here's where it gets undeniably weird. Decades later, in 1976, a guy named Dale Alfrey randomly bought 4 mildewed boxes at a New Jersey estate auction for just $25. Guess what? They turned out to be Tesla's lost personal journals. Crazy, right? But here is the math that simply doesn't add up. At the time of his death, the FBI actually recorded 80 trunks of Tesla's belongings in that hotel room. Yet years later, when the estate was transferred, only 60 trunks arrived in Yugoslavia. That leaves exactly 20 trunks completely unaccounted for. So what happened? Were the contents just, consolidated into fewer boxes to save on shipping? Or did the US government quietly pocket the most dangerous blueprints? Well, behind closed doors, the government was deeply divided on what to do with his research. On one hand, you had brilliant minds like MIT's Dr. John G. Trump, an electrical engineer tasked with evaluating the seized files, who completely dismissed them. But on the flip side, military heavyweights like Brigadier General Craggy, who was actually the military's first jet pilot, took Tesla's ideas so seriously that they launched Project Nick, specifically to try and build them. Dr. Trump's official assessment, though, it was scathing. He claimed Tesla's work from his last 15 years was purely speculative and philosophical. Basically, he said it didn't include any sound, workable principles. Yet the military pretty much ignored Dr. Trump's dismissal. Their subsequent actions strongly suggested they were hunting for something very, very specific in those papers, totally disregarding the academic advice they'd just paid for. Section 2. The Teleforce Death Ray. The weapon that sparked an investigation. So what was the weapon the government feared so much that they later initiated top-secret beam weapon programs like DARPA's Seesaw or even Ronald Reagan's Strategic Defense Initiative? Well, Tesla claimed his proposed weapon would use a staggering 50 million volts. To put that into perspective, that is an absolutely incomprehensible amount of power. It was designed to catapult microscopic electrical particles with such force that, according to newly declassified FBI files, Tesla stated it could literally melt airplane motors from 250 miles away. That is an unprecedented scale of defense. Tesla called this the Teleforce, but here's the thing. He didn't view it as some offensive ray gun. Instead, he envisioned it as an invisible Chinese wall of defense. He proposed building a dozen of these plants at strategic points along the coast to make the country completely impregnable to aerial attacks. When you remember that the world was right in the middle of a vicious world war where aerial bombing was devastating entire cities, well, it's really no wonder the FBI was hovering over his hotel room. Section 3. The World Wireless System, pumping power through the Earth. Moving away from weapons for a second, let's open another file in the vault. His ambitious plan for global connectivity. This concept absolutely revolutionized how we think about energy, even if it was totally misunderstood at the time. You see, Tesla fundamentally disagreed with how radio waves worked. Instead of a straight line-of-sight transmission, like a flashlight beam, he wanted to use the Earth itself and the upper atmosphere as a giant global conductor. His vision was to build a network of over 30 global towers that would pump electrical pulses straight into the ground. Imagine a world where remote villages had abundant wireless energy and instant communication. He was basically conceptualizing global Wi-Fi over a century ago. And this wasn't just theoretical math on a chalkboard either. During his 1899 experiments in Colorado Springs, he built this massive magnifying transmitter that shot electrical discharges over 100 feet into the air. And through the ground, he actually managed to wirelessly light an incandescent bulb nearly 2,000 feet away. He proved unequivocally that the physics of wireless power transfer actually worked. Section 4. Signals from the stars, intercepting the unknown. Now, those Colorado Springs experiments yielded something even more enigmatic. And this is where we loop back to those recovered, mildewed journals bought for $25 at that New Jersey auction, because they contained highly classified thoughts Tesla rarely discussed in public. While monitoring his extremely sensitive equipment, Tesla documented receiving strange periodic electrical disturbances. He firmly believed, and actually hinted at in a 1901 article for Collier's Weekly, that he had intercepted intelligently controlled extraterrestrial signals. He noted a clear suggestion of number and order in the rhythmic pulses, which is something totally distinct from random solar flares or atmospheric static. He genuinely thought he was hearing the greeting of another planet. Mind-blowing, right? Section 5. The 369 obsession, a mathematical key to the universe? Let's move to our final mystery. This builds into a Tesla obsessively called the key to the universe, the numbers 3, 6, and 9. It's a concept that bridges the gap between advanced physics and mathematical philosophy. Let's look at how this math actually works out. If we map out the basic math of cellular division, cells naturally doubling from 2 to 4, 8, 16, 32, and so on, and we reduce those sums to their single-digit roots, a really bizarre pattern emerges. 16 becomes 1 plus 6, which is 7. 32 is 3 plus 2, making 5. 64 becomes 10, which reduces to 1. If you follow this doubling pattern to infinity, the resulting sequence completely skips the numbers 3, 6, and 9. They simply do not exist in this fundamental mathematical progression. So why do those numbers just vanish? Well, researchers analyzing Tesla's work, like Marco Rodin, propose that 3, 6, and 9 represent what's called a flux field. Think of it like a mathematical gateway, or a vector pointing toward a higher, undiscovered fourth dimension. Tesla reportedly believed that if you understood the magnificence of these three numbers, you wouldn't just understand math, you'd hold the mechanical blueprint of the universe itself. Whether it was a profound universal truth or just severe obsessive-compulsive disorder, this 369 theory totally hijacked Tesla's daily life. I mean, he would rigidly walk around a city block exactly 3 times before entering a building. He insisted his hotel room numbers be divisible by 3. He even required exactly 18 napkins, which, is a number divisible by 3, 6, and 9, to clean his dishes before eating. The math didn't just live in his head, it actively ruled his physical existence. As we wrap up this explainer today, I want to leave you with a really provocative thought. If MIT's top minds truly believed Tesla's final papers were nothing but the speculative ramblings of an aging inventor, why did 20 trunks completely vanish from the historical record? And why did the United States military spend decades and literally billions of dollars trying to replicate the exact weapons he drew up in those pages? Perhaps the key to the universe really is locked away in those missing files. Thank you so much for joining me, and as always, keep questioning what you see.